Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. You might have just seen the one before this where we checked out VINTERSEA's Fiery Tongue, and quite an unusual move on my part. I needed to immediately hear more. I was about to, and I was thinking about checking out some other song. I'm like, hey, just react to it, right? That's what we're here for. You guys want me to check out music and give my thoughts on it. So if I'm going to listen to it, might as well record it. So that's where we're at today. We're going to check out VINTERSEA's newer track. I think this one's newer than the Fiery Tongue we just checked out. This one is called The Holy Procession. All right, let's get to it. I'm excited. I don't know if you're excited, but I'm excited. Ooh, quite a different take from Fiery Tongue.
Holy procession will guide my way. Let me partake on the waters another day. The spirit of salvation has sailed away. The embers of my youth shall find you gray.
Might grow on me, and I'm not too hot on that riff right now. These sections definitely feel a bit more sparse without the synthesizer going on behind them. All right. Really nice syncopation, kind of more of a light jazz feel to it. Really digging this, just kind of bringing it down a bit. Really like the counterpoint going on between the guitars and the bass there. We got the synths providing a bit of an audio floor. Yeah, this part's beautiful. I really like the way the rhythms are alternating here between the two guitar parts. We had a pretty big build up and then kind of stop here.
Waken to the antidote of my slumber, shaken till the end of time on everything that I once knew. Waves collide beneath my skin until I'm falling. Lights go out in unison to break. The Holy Procession will guide my way. Let me partake on the waters another day. The spring of salvation has sailed away. The embers of my youth shall fade. Fade to the Holy Procession will guide my
Oh man, the layers.
Let me partake on the waters another day. The spring of salvation has sailed away. The embers of my youth shall fade, fade to gray.
This guitar riff is half stepping, which is a cool allusion to the opening riff where it did the half step section to end the riff. Dang, this song got creepy though, right? I thought it was over. Oh man, the atmosphere here though. Very interesting choice there. Wow. So there at the end, uh, the orchestral part, uh, I'd say it was carrying the melody bit. It was. It really wasn't extremely lead line, but it definitely had a little bit more movement to it than what was going on in the guitars. And I thought it was really interesting that the lead was so far down in the mix. Like, I heard it a couple of times, but I really had to focus in on it. The guitars had so much prominence going on, and they were just doing riffs. So it really surprised me when, the last 4, 8 beats, whatever, I mean, bars, when the band started to fade out, the lead started to fade in. It actually ended with the lead. So it started with more of the floor having the emphasis, and it ends giving the entire emphasis to the lead. Um, so yeah, interesting little choice there. I think if I had done it, I would have left the lead on top and then faded out the band under it instead of having this crossfade effect. But yeah, I don't think I would have thought to do that. And the crossfade works. I think that it still feels kind of weird going into the outro. It has more of a metal feel where it's more about the atmosphere than about the musical writing and about having a lead section. Um, so like I said, if I was writing it, I would have felt that that was a little empty, and I would have left the orchestral part, the string parts, in the spotlight. It's really cool that they didn't though. They left it feeling kind of empty and then flipped it. So yeah, uh, this is a drastic departure from Fiery Tongue, and oh man, this might be one of my new bands added to the I gotta check out the discography list, because there's just so many cool things going on in here. Um, they like to play with. I didn't really notice this in the first one, but there's musical motif going on in this track. I don't know if that's just because it's longer and they just started, taking some stuff they've already written and putting it in new sections, or if this is how they normally write, and Fiery Tongue was more of a quick and dirty track where they just follow, a simple A B C B pattern. I'm not sure what's their bread and butter, and what's kind of their unique style, but there's a lot of really cool moments in here of motif and callback. Um, the opening of the song starts with a riff that I mentioned I wasn't too keen on. We have some really heavy notes that lead into a half step alternation where we get that dee nee 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 nee, and on the second repetition of it, they actually move up. They move higher in notes as they get closer to the end of the bar. Where you get dee nee 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 nee, and I wasn't really a big fan of it. It felt out of place. It felt empty and sparse, because a lot of the heaviness coming from the power chords that, I'm not going to say power chords, coming from the chords that led up to it, a lot of that was gone because the instruments were changing from the lower end chord based stuff to the higher end half step notes. And it just felt sparse compared to the wide sound before it. And it, it might have grown on me a little bit, but it's still not my favorite part of the song. But we can hear half step progressions throughout this entire song. It is kind of crazy how there's constant callbacks to that little section right there. Um, Even right there at the end, I think it was during the final chorus, one of the guitars was just doing half steps the entire time. He would do 4 bars of half steps, and or he would do one repetition. I try not to speak in bars and beats because tempos and how you write the music can change. So I try to speak in things where that's listenable, but I'm so used to talking in beats and bars since I'm used to working with sheet music, and I can specifically say, with authority, this is, bar 27 through bar 32, this happens. So I'm just used to talking like that, but when you're doing it by ear, the way that it's written can be so different depending on who's interpreting it. So I try to stay away from that. But yeah, for one repetition, though, they would alternate between two notes, and then for the next repetition, they would, move up a whole step or move down a whole step, and do it again, or up a third, whatever the distance they were moving, though, and that was their role in the song, was to play these half steps, and just everywhere you look, these little half steps pop up. It's kind of phenomenal to have such a strong concept, or have a concept so strongly displayed in a song like that, especially a simple concept like half step movement. Just, it's not something you would build a song around, and that's not to say the whole song is built around it. It just pops up everywhere. Like, I can't wait to give this a second look and really check out where I can hear all these. um, I will say, though, this has a much stronger showcase of the clean vocals, which weren't shown off too much in Fiery Tongue. It was mostly relegated to the chorus, which was a very small showing of the song compared to the verse and the breakdown. There's just a lot more harsh, and while harsh definitely, I think, has more time in this song. I don't know if it's because of the soft section in the middle, but I feel like clean was more represented. I don't know if that's actually true, because again, I'm thinking that the clean was also relegated to just choruses again. But the outro chorus was pretty long, and then you had the breakdown into the final chorus, which was clean. But the verses were pretty lengthy, and the verses were harsh vocals. So I don't know, but the song just has a fantastic dynamic between the clean and the heavy, both in her vocals and in the music. A lot of the song is heavy, but we took like 2.5 or 3 minutes in the middle there to kind of bring it down and build it back up. So yeah, I mean, this song just ticks all of my boxes. It has the contrast, it has the highs and the lows, it has the cleans and the heavies, or the cleans and the harshes. It has, lighter music, it has more melodic music, and then more like metal rhythmic kind of stuff going on. There's vocal layering left and right. Let's talk about that. That final chorus was a trip. I don't know how many guitarists are in the band. I think I saw two and a bassist, but not really paying too much attention to the video. I'm really trying to absorb the music. But that final chorus, I swear there was three guitar parts. There's definitely the original guitar parts, but then, like I said, we start hearing that half step melody. Not even a melody, it's just like a half step pattern going on underneath all that. Then you have a vocal layer, which is her singing the chorus. There might be a backing track or a harmony track on that. I don't remember. There's a lot of layers I'm trying to keep track of. The drummer was just getting insane. There's a screaming layer that sometimes lined up with what she was singing clean, but also sometimes provided like alternate lyrics, sort of a contrasting vocal line. Maybe she was exaggerating something she was saying or expanding on it. Maybe she was contrasting something she was saying, and kind of having some of the this and that kind of stuff in the lyrics. Just like, dang, the bass had some really nice lines throughout, but I do feel like a lot of the time the guitars were given the spotlight in the music. I think the one time the bass definitely shone was in the slowing down section, the middle, the build up. Had a nice couple of runs that were showcased in the mix. But yeah, just there's just so much to absorb. And how long? You're probably going to hear the opening to this for a second. 9 minutes and 48 seconds. That did not feel like a 10-minute song. I mean, we've heard. I'm not going to get into that. I'm trying to keep this a little on the shorter side as it is. I could ramble about this forever. I loved this song. But yeah, it to me it did not feel like a 10-minute song. This thing was over and done with so quick. Um, the drumming was great. Not as impressive as Fiery Tongue though. I mean it might have just been the blast beats that were going nonstop, which is just impressive. This one was more solid. There were some really cool fills in there, showing off again just his roboticness with these fills, and it's such a clean mix, just to showcase every hit on his set. But again, like I said, it was more of a steady drum part, more about keeping time and keeping things rolling rather than showing off or putting those blast beats down. More about, well, I guess Fiery Tongue would be more about like an oppressive sound, getting more wall of sound, putting more sound out there, which blast beats do that, man. Snare takes up a lot of space. And you hit that snare a lot, and you're gonna be taking up a ton of space. Um, so yeah, this was more controlled, I would say, and more just kind of falling into the groove and providing a nice rhythm for everything, and occasionally throwing down a real dirty drum fill. But yeah, just solid drumming. The music as a whole, I'm still going to say it's good. It does a good job of capturing the atmosphere, but I can't really, other than, I was going to say, I can't really say that I loved it, but that build-up section was great. Let me talk about that build-up section because we've had a few build-ups on this channel, and I can't always say I've enjoyed them. I like the concept of the build-up. I like starting from something small and having a gradual change where it's not. We talk about contrast and context on this channel a lot. And one of the best ways to show contrast is showing the low and showing the high. So, without context to the high, you don't know that this is super loud unless you've heard something super quiet. So, but the buildup is unique in that you typically are moving so gradually through the two versions that you're contrasting that you don't realize that they're so different. And that definitely happened here. I don't really remember when we went from being soft to being loud, but at the end of that section, I mean, we had layers, we had depth. The drummer went from doing that offbeat syncopated snare jazz thing to just playing, straight rock drums, and just being loud instead of being, like quiet and technical. I don't know when that shift happened. We were at this end and then we were at that end, and that's the point of the build-up. It is the opposite of the drastic contrast. It is the gradual contrast. And I do enjoy that. But I've said before that when you're doing it, there's a very fine line between moving too quickly and moving too slowly. And I think this one did a phenomenal job, though maybe it was a little too fast. I don't. There's no real way to quantify it. There's no right way to write a build up. It's just that, like I said, I don't really remember one moment to the next. We were just soft and then we were loud, and I don't know if that means that it was just done very well or if it was done too quickly. But yeah, it worked for me though, and I think that's what I'm trying to get to here. There's a lot of bands that just stay on the same concept forever, and these guys basically give a specific part of the buildup, not that long, one or two repetitions, and they're moving on to the next section. And I appreciate that. It's a little bit of getting to the point while still retaining that buildup aspect. And I think I'm going to end this little analysis right after the build-up. When we got into the super vulnerable section, I would say, where the lead singer was singing by herself. And I think it was the chorus. And then she went into the fry, and then she went into the growl with no context, no musical floor, no musical anything around it. And I don't know if it was that she hit a lower note than anything else. I don't know if it was just the fact that I could hear all the undertones because there was nothing else muddying it up. But dang. I mean, we've heard lower notes. There was one band, Slaughter to Prevail, maybe. Just hit a jaw-dropping low note. But this, done without context, just the voice, I don't know, man. That packed a punch. Like, yeah, that blew me away. So, yeah, VINTERSEA is something I'm going to be looking into. They might not ever get another reaction because I've already checked out all their work by the time they can show up again. That's just I don't know if it's right place, right time. Like I said last week, I think doom metal is just kind of tickling my fancy right now, and I think this kind of technical black metal might be working for me right now too. I don't know. Maybe I'm just adapting to this stuff. You never know. 2020 has been a weird year though, and me getting into growls, it fits. It checks out with 2020. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of this one. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Especially if you want, let me know how you thought this compared to Fiery Tongue. We've never done this before where I checked out two songs back to back like this, but like I said, I needed it. It was a weird spot with Fiery Tongue where I really loved it, but I was also on the fence and it doesn't make sense. So I needed to, correct that clash of ideas there. So yeah, like I said, you guys let me know what you thought and what you thought about this compared to Fiery Tongue if you'd like. And above the comment section is a description box with some links in there if you'd like to see anything adjacent to the channel, like the Patreon campaign or blocked videos. There's some buttons, a like, a subscribe, and a bell. They help out the channel immensely, and if you like to be notified when I put videos up, they can help you out as well. And that wraps this one up. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, with some special selections for over the weekend. One on Saturday, one on Sunday. Monday will actually start our very first special selection week. Happens at the beginning of every month. And we'll be checking out special selections all week, one each day. And then the weekend after this one, we'll be doing the regularly scheduled special selections. So we got 9 special selections in a row. I'm excited for it. I love doing the theme stuff, especially when we check out genres I have no idea about. And also, non-genre themed weeks, because then I just get to see some really rats. Like, I just love recommendations, seriously. But I do love special selections because you guys just have the most bonkers, off-the-wall, amazing stuff. And we listen to a lot of rock and metal, and I think a lot of you guys are trying to get some non-rock and metal on the channel, and we've kind of done that very well with special selections. We've had Los Jaivos, and we had the Visit just last week, and I'm trying to pick out. I'm trying to remember bands specifically from special selection over the last 300 videos. It's not going well. My brain's fried. But anyways, we've had some really cool non-rock and metal on special selection, so I always look forward to it. It's always stuff that's kind of outside of what we typically do, which is always fun. All right, so hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. If not, that's fine too. Keep being awesome. Keep being safe out there, especially. And have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.